It is your boy T with another Have You Seen That with T movie review, and today I am finally reviewing Thanksgiving. So I saw maybe one or two previews of Thanksgiving a few months ago leading up into this movie releasing, and I was underwhelmed. Oh no, it's another slasher movie. Is Eli Roth back? Is he gonna bring it with this slasher movie? Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is definitely not the holiday for horror, but I think he knew that and he leaned into that. Apparently, this has been a passion project of his for about the last 15 years. And what I can say is this movie is every bit of magnificent. I love this movie. This movie starts off with one of the most insane backstory slash not even a flashback scenes. It starts on Thanksgiving in Plymouth, Massachusetts. This movie is so Massachusetts, it's ridiculous. It is so, now. Don't get me wrong. A lot of the characters have terrible Boston accents. They're doing these terrible masshole accents, and it's there's that in this movie. But at the same time, if you know anybody from Boston, I dealt in customer service for a while, so I had a lot of people from Massachusetts calling in, and this is exactly what they sounded like. Like they had that same fever, that same vitriol in their voice about everything. It starts off on Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and there's this Walmart type store that's supposed to be opening for Black Friday, and I've never done Black Friday shopping. I've been to a Walmart before they started the Black Friday sales, and I've seen the lines of people waiting to get in. I've seen video of people trampling people to get in stores. And in this movie, one of the funniest things they did was the store was giving out like a free waffle iron for every purchase or something like that, and that became the like everyone was coming in for waffle irons. And boy, I don't know what the product placement was when it came to the waffle irons in this movie, but man, they should have, like, some companies should have capitalized on that because they would have had a lot of people buying their brand of waffle irons. But in this movie, I mean, to start it off, the mass hysteria for this Black Friday sale. And of course, these teenagers in the middle of it, because one of the teenagers, one of the main characters, the final girl, so to speak, her dad owned the store, so her and her friends got in early. And of course, they're a bunch of jocks and they're teasing everybody, they're trolling everybody outside the store, which leads to the mass hysteria. They come in, they trample a lot of people die. There's a lot of blood, and this shit is insane. It is like that scene in itself is reason enough to go see this movie. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. It is just an insane 10 minutes of just utter chaos of these people trampling people, people just getting impaled, all in the effort to get a waffle iron. It's so funny. It is so funny. It's so violent. It's just Eli Roth did not skip out on the blood. Like, fake blood was everywhere in this movie, which made it awesome. It just took it to an extra level. It just took it to that next level of slasher to me, right? So of course, after this massacre in the wall in the Prime Mart, or whatever the name of the Right Mart, I think that was the name of the store in the movie. It cuts to the next year, and there's somebody who wants revenge because so many people died, so many people's lives were altered because of this singular event, which of course, in retrospect, yes, it should be, right? I mean, it was one guy who videotaped the whole thing. He put it on the gram, he uploaded it, and of course it went viral because there were people getting their heads ripped off. There were people getting their throats cut. Like, you have to see it. I can't stress enough how insane this first scene is. Um, and then of course it cuts to the next year. There's a guy in the John Carver mask. John Carver, one of the pioneers of Plymouth, Massachusetts, when it came to Thanksgiving. And he's going around getting revenge all of the people who are on this video, all of the people who partook in the massacre, he wants his revenge, but because of course somebody he loved or knew died that day. And now, of course, comes in the slasher part because we're trying to figure out who this character is. He's definitely one of the main characters. There are a lot of pretty teenagers in this movie. They're jocks, they're cheerleaders. There's the innocent, somewhat innocent final girl. Her boyfriend got his arm, mangled in the massacre, and he was supposed to go to college on a pitching scholarship. So of course he had motive. There was just a lot of people with motives, and of course I won't spoil it. I won't tell you who the killer was. But in these movies, that's where the crux in a lot of these slasher movies come, because every time, by the time we get to the killer reveal, we're kind of exhausted. And it's really hard, other than Saw or the original Scream, it's really hard to get one over on the audience because we're paying attention to everything because we want to know who the killer is. I guessed the killer immediately. I knew who the killer was immediately, and I knew what his motivations was immediately as well. I just knew it. I could see it. And if you watch the movie, you'll be able to see it too. That doesn't take away from the movie, though. The killer reveal doesn't spoil the movie in the way that it did with the last Scream, where that killer reveal took the movie down about 2 notches. This killer reveal kind of keeps it even keel because by this point, at the end of the movie, you're already so invested in the characters, and the kills are so grotesque and gruesome. Like, you're in for it, right? Like, you're here, right? You're here. And it's just a great movie. It's a fun time. The kills there's so much blood. The kills are very inventive. They're not reinventing the wheel, but at the same time, they're just gruesome. There's just a lot of blood in this movie. It's a fun time. There's some humor in it. There's a lot. It's not very scary. It's just very violent and bloody. Eli Roth, who is known, for the torture porn genre, being one of the pioneers in that with Hostel. He really brings it here with the blood in this movie, with the gore in this movie, and it's just a fun time. The cast seems like they were having a great time making this movie, and I had a great time watching the movie. Everyone in the theater was laughing where they needed to laugh. They were jumping because I'm telling you, this movie is gory. There was a lady sitting next to me with her. I don't know if she was his sister or his mother. She seemed older than this kid. Looked like he was about 10 years old, and he was into it. Like, this kid looked like he could not have been more than 10 years old, but he was into it. They were into it. It was just a bloody good time. I enjoyed the hell out of Thanksgiving. Right now it's sitting at about 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. I saw I'm a guy who don't like to watch reviews, but I saw Jeremy John's picture of his review of Thanksgiving, and he had that kind of mad face. And I try not to take that into consideration, but his face and his thumbnails really determine how I go into a lot of movies. And I went into this movie thinking, oh no, is this going to be a man movie? This was not. I have to watch his review now to see exactly what he said, how of course, it's not a technical masterpiece, and a lot of movie reviewers are looking at the technical aspects of it, and they try to break it down scene by scene. I don't do that. I like to go into movies, and my reviews come from whether I had a good time at the movie theater or I had a terrible time at the movie theater, or the movie was just boring, which I thought The Killer was, which a lot of people love The Killer, which that review is coming up soon if you haven't seen it already. But this movie was so much fun to me. There was so many horror slasher movie tropes that they kind of circumvented in the movie. The jump scares felt a little out of place, which I love. I don't love when they give you the music and then the mirror and then the jump scene. Like, it goes on the same beat. This movie is a little bit offbeat, which means the scares come in at very inopportune times, which is perfect opportunities to scare the shit out of you. And there weren't too many jump scares, but there was some jump kills where you were just like, holy snap, he just showed up out of nowhere. There's no scare there. He's just going to kill you. Like, he is not there to scare you. He's not there to intimidate you. He is there to kill you. And he did a lot of killing. The John Carver mass killer. did a lot of killing. The final reveal was okay. It was ho hum, but at the same time, the rest of the movie was so much fun. Of course, they set themselves up for sequels with this movie, and I hope Eli Roth continues to make slashers because he's so damn good at it. He is really good at horror. I'm over the torture porn. I'm over the horror, torture porn genre, but he can really find his niche in slashers. He really can. I think that this Thanksgiving thing, I don't want one next Thanksgiving, but maybe two Thanksgivings from now, bring us another one. Bring a well thought out movie. Some of the same characters. If they survived, I won't tell you who survived or not in this movie, but there are people who survived. Bring some of them back. Don't bring all of them back. Take it to a different location and just have at it. Have that John Carver killer kill a lot of people. I think this movie really set itself up to become a new slasher franchise that can do really well. Have you seen Thanksgiving? What did you think of Thanksgiving? Let me know what you thought of it. Tell me if I'm way off base here. I had a great time at the movie theater. I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. But let me know what you thought of it. Let me know if you had a good time at the theater. Let me know if there was somebody talking in the theater, because we had one person who decided they wanted to speak throughout a lot of the kills, which almost killed my vibe, but it did not. The movie was that awesome. It was that much fun that there was nothing that was going to stop me from enjoying this movie. It's a very enjoyable slasher. I love slashers, by the way, slashers and rom-coms. That should have been the name of my YouTube channel, but it's not. It is Have You Seen That With T? Definitely like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to the Have You Seen That With T podcast on Spotify or Apple Music. And I will catch you next time with The Hunger Games, The Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes.